Hey
Yeah.
everyone, technical issues hopefully sorted. Had a few issues with Skype and then OBS, and then, so here we're here.
A web show on the internet web with people
Ooh.
talking across two parts of the world in like 5 time zones apart, and then rebroadcasting to the full wild world web on every time zone in all the world. Stuart, what is the one thing all of that needs?
Consistency? No,
Charisma,
that's not the right luck
fortitude,
and us. I'm running
and
out of things to say.
the internet. I'm glad you got to where I was going. It wasn't. I'm glad you got other bit. That it wasn't
Yeah,
just go straight
yeah.
to. It's as if we know each other, Stuart. As if.
Right.
So you have a nice weekend, Stuart?
I did. It's Father's Day weekend,
Yes.
so
Yes, and I swapped my Father's Day because I had my birthday in Germany for FedCon, but we skipped, had it here as well. So we had, because of everyone doing things, we had my birthday on Sunday and Father's Day on Saturday, and that worked a treat.
very nice, very nice. Yeah, we need to do our birthday stream where we talk about the stuff
Yes,
we got and stuff,
which I now can have and got. And
which will probably be on the weekend, guys.
yes, I'm actually here for once at the weekend, which is nice. But how many of you are here? I haven't actually checked the stream. How many of you are joining us for episode? What episode is this? Number 7.
Episode 7.
Oh dear. With the ever
Lonely
iconic
Among
lizard
Us. Speaking of,
people. Hmm.
it is, yes. But speaking of, Samuel, I've only got a few more thumbnails already pre-made for these lives, just so you're aware. This is your reminder that I need more.
8 in a row, and he's like, "Oh, it's probably doing 2 a week. They burn through quite quickly." But it's because you all want us to get to DS9 and Voyager and Enterprise and back to Discovery. So we'll go full circle. We'll go right back to that.
Don't forget TOS. We still got to do TOS too.
Yes. How is everyone? And I guess my next job is to share. So I'll let you take over, and I'll share.
Fine, you do that. Yeah, guys. So he's gonna share while I talk to you guys and tell you that we always look forward to having these lives because they're really fun to do. We get to dissect the show, break it down, and really, see things we probably didn't see the first million times we saw the episode. But one of the good things about it is we get to interact with you, the community, and hear your little facts that you know or whatever. And that's a good way to get those across to us and also help the channel is super chats. I know I always go on about the super chats, but it's important because we like hearing your questions or comments, and the best way to do that is via super chat because it comes up in a separate chat window. It's easy for us to see, and not only are you getting your voice heard, your comment read, your question answered, but you're also helping the channel and making sure there's going to be more of these so that hopefully we can do them all eventually. Which like 700 and some odd hours of Trek, or I don't know. There's a lot. Anyway,
Well, it goes with these 700 hours of Trekyards episodes.
true. There's a lot of stuff out there from us, and still a lot more to do, and we want to continue to do so. So the best way to do that is to help support by doing super chats. Also, down in the comments, or down not in the comment section, down in the description, there's always links to our Teespring store, which helps us out, our Patreon, which is our monthly subscription service, which is kind of the backbone of what we do. So that's a good way to help us on a monthly basis, and also the information for PayPal, should you wish to send us a PayPal instead of a super chat, because we get more of that money because YouTube's not skimming off the top, but that's okay. So yeah, lots of ways to help us. Always check the descriptions. There's cool links down there. You can order, stuff, save yourself some money on some other stuff. Lots of cool stuff down there. Always check it out. Fat Produce puts in $5 and says, I ordered a Playmates TNG tricorder on eBay. I showed my autistic brother talking like Mr. Tricorder from Generations. He loved it, so I gave it to him. That's cool. I have the Playmates TNG tricorder as well. Very cool little piece of... That's actually right here. I was going to say it's in the other room, but it's right here. Oh. And it still works. I just don't have batteries in mine right now. But yeah. And as soon as Samuel's done sharing, I'm going to have to head upstairs for like 30 seconds and come back. Because I got to get something that I was going to grab for this review and I completely forgot about until now. So, but guys, help us out if you can. So yes, we're looking at episode 7 of season 1 called Lonely Among Us. And this is a pretty good Star Trek episode, if I do say so myself. This is like the first TNG episode that kind of had a and B storyline, which was a nice distraction from what was going on. Some really interesting Star Trek tropes in here, so definitely fun to talk about. And yes, Fat Produce is right. Everyone make sure to like the video. It's very important. And yeah, if you guys do send us PayPal or something instead of a super chat, be sure to mention it in the comments, because the moderators will see that and let us know that we need to check our PayPal, and we'll do that. We'll check it and read off your comment or question from there as well. So it's another way to do it. But yes, likes are important. We have 70 people here to start, which is great. So everybody hit like, and we should be able to get at least 50. We should be able to get 70 if you all hit it. But Fat Produce puts in $2. Red alert, hashtag code of honor. Well, we're not talking about code of honor, and I don't have an alcoholic drink. I do have a just a pop.
Yes, we're saving that. We're saving all that energy for that awesome thing. But yeah, so Stuart.
Yes.
Oh, you had to go, so I'll vamp while you.
Yeah, I'll just be like 1 minute. Hold on.
1 minute. 1 minute. Yes, guys, like the video. Yeah, maybe a lot to talk about. I have 1 page and a bit of notes. Yep, 1 3/4. Like you said, the start of the A and B plots, which, you know, the rest of these episodes have been very focused for the most part, apart from Farpoint, and we're 7 in. Now, I'm not sure production order, but I'm assuming this is going to be in that first 10 as well. And by this point, they should get a sense of who the characters are, and hopefully the performances are getting more and more refined. Although I will sort of say right now that Tasha Yar, again, has so little presence in these episodes, and a lot of the time when it could be Tasha, they use Worf instead, which seems pointless then to have 2 security officers. I know, I guess you should always be on the bridge, but if you've got 2 and you're picking one over the other, then obviously one's getting shortchanged. But yeah, just kind of vamping, and yeah, we'll do another live. I think it's one on a Friday about episode 8, which I'm looking forward to as well. Yeah, fun time as we had by all. Oh, Stuart, what did you grab?
We'll have to wait and see. It's not relative right now, or relevant. So you gotta wait.
Oh,
but I think
it's a gag. Okay, so Stuart, in generalities, what did you think of TNG episode 7, season 1?
I actually really liked it.
Ooh.
I remember watching it the first time first couple times, and being rather bored with it. Plus, there's a lot of darkness in this episode. Just like the corridors are all dark. I don't know if it's because of the races they have on board, whether they need lower lighting.
That's great. Well, I think, sometimes they're writer strikes, they're lighting man strike. The gaffers are just like, no, so we'll just light it with this light, because that's how lighting works.
We have flashlights.
That's Voyager when they have a big flashlight torch, massive hand things.
But no, overall, I really liked this episode. Like I said, it was the first one of TNG that really had an A-B plot, and it was really well divided for this episode, I think. You disagree, that's fine. But both of them are very Starfleet-esque kind of tropes that they have to do. And I really like that balance that they had with this one. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. That was a good episode.
Okay, I had a soft spot for this episode, just like I did for last episode. I remembered, I think, the alien entity subplot. I hadn't seen that bit of the episode, I guess, until like 10 years ago. So for me, that felt like a more late season, because I didn't see it until later. Whereas I'd seen these aliens, again, just how VHS tapes, or how to see it on live TV, obviously back in the day, you don't necessarily see the whole episode. And so I remembered it being in 2 sort of distinct ways. And I remember very much liking the Picard stuff, the alien stuff. And when I was watching this time, I was excited to rewatch that. But in rewatching it, I actually lost a lot of that momentum as I'm really watching it again, and I didn't remember the resolution of the alien arc, because there isn't one, and I was quite flabbergasted by the end, and not in a good way. So unlike last episode, I think it was last episode where it kept my fond memories. This one I think is a lot lower in my expectations. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it doesn't hold up to what I remember, and I don't think it's a particularly strong episode. But I could be convinced. Like I say, this was kind of like I was a little bit bored while watching it.
There's multiple reasons I like this episode, which we'll get into as we're going through the review. But
yes. So let's swap
Joseph Petrick puts in €2 and says, baking a cake, and Bird of Prey 5 said that you're on, so hi. Well, hello, and hopefully your cake turns out very well. And thank you, Bird of Prey 5, for informing him that we are on.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
That's true. All right, let's get into it.
So yeah.
I gotta pull out my notes.
So we start in the transporter room, the introduction of the new diplomatic uniforms.
Yeah.
And they've been on board this delegation. And first of all, my first two thoughts were, those diplomatic uniforms don't look very good to me, but damn, that prosthetic makeup of the reptilians is superb.
Yeah.
Like, that's really top end.
I never even thought that the costumes look bad. I think they look great, considering they're an alien species. We don't know what they're, they don't look cheap to me at all. I think they look good.
No, the diplomatic of the Federation uniforms, the new diplomatic uniforms. I thought they didn't look particularly good. They're not flattering. They don't quite work for me. But no, the aliens, like I say, the aliens are perfect. I love them. These are, like, I wish they had been the true A plot. I think they're actually underused. And that's my notes for the first scene. What did you think?
I actually like the dress uniforms, to be honest. I think they are missing something around the belt area.
Yeah.
Just buckle or something, like a la motion picture.
Maybe
a floating belt buckle.
A Starfleet symbol symbolizing this is like Federation ideals. Yeah, it's missing something. It's just too long.
Or the UFP symbol would be good, because it's usually used for diplomatic situations, so that would work. I
was about to say universal translator, but obviously that's in the comm badge. But yeah, it needs something. It doesn't have the same crispness. It just doesn't.
Of the TNG one, or the TOS ones, you mean? Or which one?
Just the separation of the black trousers with the top works for a reason, and this just doesn't, Well, that's just me. I might be wrong, but it stood out to me. It's like, doesn't make anyone. I think Tasha looks the best in it.
Yes.
But doesn't make any of them look good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's where we get introduced to the Antikins and the Sealy. It's Sealy.
The Gorn's best friend at high schools.
Yeah. No kidding, eh?
Sorry.
But yeah, they're at odds. So this is a diplomatic mission. They're taking them to a planet called Parliament, where they can. Well, Canada too. Well. Parliament. Hello. But yeah, so it's a diplomatic mission, which I love, because that's kind of what Starfleet is. One of their missions is to make sure that people are getting along and trying to facilitate that. And this happens quite a few times in TNG. Yep. There's one scene here, actually, right after the picture you're on there. You can actually see the boom mic.
Yeah.
A little bit of the gray fuzz, which I didn't even notice when I watched it. I just saw it in my screen cap.
Yeah.
So
there it is.
Not a big deal.
No, there's a couple little production mistakes in this one, but that's okay. Yeah, I thought this was a very promising start. I like some of the dialogue. I like that they're like, we can't be upwind of them, and it's like, it's not how a starship works, mate. But I like that you think that. So it's good. It's very, like I said, it's very Trek, very, And I always think of TNG as a diplomacy show far more than TOS. It's kind of, it's like, cool, good, yes, these are born diplomats. Where are we going to go with it?
Yeah. Yeah, I love how they asked how far away are the other delegates' quarters. 100 meters apart. That's not very far. Usually when you have two people that aren't getting along, you want them a little bit further apart. Even on different decks would be fine. You got enough decks in the ship and enough quarters, you can do it.
So what you're saying is put 1 and 10 forward and 1 in the aft shuttle bay.
That's a bit much, but
far enough away.
So they get Riker says they're going to rearrange the quarter assignments, and then it must be upwind or
Good line.
upwind from them. So, right. So anyway, they leave, and then there's this interesting talk on the bridge of, oh, I don't understand hatred. Really? That's essentially what Riker says. I never understood hatred among warring nations.
Yes, my note here was Earth politics question mark. No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did sort of stop there. That was the only hold your hand. Then it just shows rather than tells. But it's like, yeah. There you are.
You cut out there for a second.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, the internet's a little bit spotty today.
Yeah. It's nothing we can control, guys.
Yes.
Anyway, so they're on their course for Parliament when they detect an unusual energy object ahead of them, which is just ink in a water tank. But that's okay. It looks good.
Wait, it's traveling at warp as well. That's important.
Well, we're getting there, yeah. Considerable energy that's changing patterns and moving at warp. So they decide to change course to go around it because they need to get to Parliament on time. But I'm sure they'll go back and investigate it at some point.
Wow. Who knows, Stuart? Who knows?
Wow. I would. And then we get a really cool scene down in sensor maintenance, which is a neat room that we never ever see again. I'm sure they redressed this set for multiple things, but this is a cool little thing, you know?
Yeah, my note is awesome redress of just an end of a corridor. Because you can tell it's just the flats of a corridor, just put things in. It's actually it's a neat little... I'm sure the actors were just kind of like, nice silver, and then 1 feet out, it's like the normal corridor, and it doesn't match at all. But yeah, it works nicely. It's just a little tiddly room.
Yeah.
It's a kind of also a different art aesthetic.
Yeah, so we just learned that they're both doing routine maintenance on the sensors, and Geordi's like, so Worf, why do you want to do this assignment? The captain wants his junior officers to learn. Yeah, and it's true. You should be familiar with all aspects of the ship. It's a good way to, earn your promotions, I guess.
And it's nice to see Worf have more lines, but again, he's already showing more character than Tasha. It's weird, Yeah.
But anyway, great. I really like that set though. It's so simple. But it's so white and clean, and it looks like something that we never see again on the Enterprise. Like, and it's neat.
It's really efficient.
Yeah. So anyway, this thing changes course to intercept them, and there's no life reading from it, which is important to note. But this nebula effect that you see is actually the same nebula effect they use for the Mutara Nebula in Star Trek II. So it's a reuse of that. You can actually see familiar shapes and stuff in there. So, but yeah, and basically they just skirt the edge of this thing. And then Worf notices something over on the sensors and uses his little pen. And then he gets zapped. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
And then it's the opening credits.
Overall, a good intro. I think the clouds are really, really good effect. I like the mystery. I like the simplicity. I think the episode has a problem with pace, but it's definitely good up to this point. Like, it's got good intrigue. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So when we come back from our commercial and opening credits, medical emergency in sensor maintenance, and then Worf wakes up, throws a bunch of people off of him, and Dr. Crusher sedates him, and then they stand him up and get him to medical.
I don't know if you noticed, there's lots of long takes in this episode. Just single camera, long take, stuff happening.
Didn't notice.
This is one of them. Like, everything that's seen from this bit of Worf is all one shot. Well, they know the entire post after credit bit is one shot, and it's like, oh, cool. Especially there's a stunt guy being flung and Geordi, like, it's actually again, super simple, but it's like, oh, it's refreshing. It's kind of like, stuff happening in real time.
Yeah. But yeah, then the next scene is up in Picard's ready room. He was hit by sensor feedback, is Geordi's speculation, and Geordi saw a glow in his visor, and Picard's like, could it be that your visor device is malfunctioning? No. Just the visor device line was kind of odd to me, but
And again, I felt there's an odd focus on Geordie, but again, he's famous before this.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
And I love that there's the AB plot. I really like that. So now we're in the other plot with the delegates. Problem with the meat, sir. That they prefer that their meat be alive, and Riker's like, well, then do it. Like, what's the problem? That's what we're supposed to be doing. And then it's like, you guys don't eat meat? Oh, we do, but it's synthesized, replicated meat. So I guess nobody in the future eats real meat ever, which they think is barbaric.
Well, yeah, they say specifically we don't enslave animals.
Yes.
So that's interesting, and you know, I mean, if you can make everything synthetically, why wouldn't you? If it tastes and like, why be a vegan if the meat isn't real meat? You might as well enjoy the fake, real feeling meat. It's like it's not real meat, is it? And if you're so past that, although I'll call out now specifically, and again, this is interesting to note for Discovery and such, they do have a chef, a cook, later on. So there's actually a cook preparing things. So I guess they pre-synthesize ingredients.
The ingredients
to cook to chef it up. So that makes me wonder. Then there's obviously in DS9, and this is obviously establishing the world. Here we are in TNG, but in DS9, obviously, Cisco's dad owns a restaurant and he has fresh ingredients. I mean, he's got fresh meat. Does he actually go against the social norms of the time and breed animals to kill them?
No, I think it's just something that's forgotten. This is the Gene Roddenberry. We've moved beyond the need to eat real meat, because you're going to still want to have the real thing. Same with alcohol. You're eventually going to want the real thing. It's not as good as the synthesized. That's kind of the vibe that I get. This was kind of just an idea that Gene had initially that just kind of fell by the wayside.
At least it wasn't preached upon. It was just said. Although I guess this scene obviously is all about telling a modernistic narrative of we don't want to do, this is a bad thing through an alien race. But this is where I think it's interesting. These aliens, I think the makeup's pretty not great. Not so much the look, but the mouth is very not good, and it disconnects you heavily from the performance. Whereas the other guy, he's a lot better. It just fits a lot better. This guy is like, one's here, one is here, and it doesn't do well. This feels cheaper.
I made a specific note about the mouth, how the bottom half just doesn't quite move properly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like floppy. But other than that, I mean, I do appreciate the fact that we got two different aliens that are quite alien in this episode. So,
certainly.
Then we get seen in sickbay, and I'm happy as hell because sickbay is a lot brighter this time. And it's right off of the spot that's her office. So I don't know if that's why, if they used a different part of the sickbay set for this, but sickbay is at least well lit in this episode. Which, if you're gonna have one room on your ship that should always be well lit, it should be sickbay. And so far, every time we've seen it, it's been really dark and gloomy.
It's been the night shift, Stuart. We've already had this conversation. Every time it happens to be night shift.
But you'd still want bright lights in your operating theater or your sick bay. As long as you don't have people lying in the beds, they don't need the lights off.
It might help their eyes, help their healing.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe all that power system has to go to the bio bed. Beep, 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 beep. And look at her gadget, Stuart. She has a thingamabob and a hatley do and a laser eye scannery do, but dibbity bob and everything. Yeah, it's a much better sick bay. I think because they're only doing a single perspective, they lit it far better. They sort of pick their priority. Although that area we're looking on is where her office is. That is a slightly more dressed area. I'm sure if we did the reverse, it'd be still a plain, big ass room.
You talk for a second. I gotta grab something.
Okay, and guys, we're in half an hour and only had a couple of super chats. We do kind of rely on these for the channel. We do these lives both for the fun of talking to you guys, and part of it was the fun of talking to you guys. That then we talk to you by doing a super chat. We get to talk to you directly. But it is real important. We try and get a certain amount each time, and without that, it's like 114 people watching. It should be enough. Clive Void says PayPal. That is also helpful. We've got a very, very soon to be announced cool thing if I can tease that. And all PayPals make a big difference, so thank you. And let me check now.
Never mind. I can't find it. I got pretty much the exact same thing she's wearing for building models. It's got big magnifiers on it. So they just use the same thing and modify it. I was going to throw it on. It'd be funny, but I don't know where I put it.
We have a PayPal, by the way, from Clivoid of $6.47 Canadian, and he says, "Thank you." No, he says, I don't know if he says anything. I can't.
Let me take a look.
Can't see a thing, but thank you.
All he says is thank you. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Super chats, please, guys. Come. We need them. Yeah.
Asian pirate, but it's in $2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Replicated meat is real meat molecularly. True enough. True enough. I still want the real thing every once in a while. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? Oh, this is Then so she's working on Worf, and all of a sudden she gets zapped. And Troy comes in, and there's the whole. He's normal now. He's reading normal now. What's going on? And she's like, "Oh, it's all good. We're both fine here."
I will say I quite like the acting in this episode. Because, and again, semi spoilers. This entity, unlike most, isn't aggressive, isn't villainous. There isn't ill intent. It's not like a child or some other episodes. It's just trying to work out what the hell's going on, live, get back home. So the acting is an interesting balance, and I quite like the otherworldly acting that isn't aggressive, isn't whatever. I think both Beverly and Picard do a great job, especially Captain Picard, especially Patrick Stewart, in their alternate performances. Where obviously, like Worf, we didn't get anything particular of that. But I thought Crusher and Picard did a good job.
I would agree. Next scene, though, is... Well, I don't have any notes for this. What the hell?
They just go to the... They just warp 8 to the rendezvous because they're delayed long enough. Engage.
Yeah, because my next note is about the Wesley Crusher scene. He's doing his homework about theories on dilithium crystals, and she comes in and sits down, and oh yes, dilithium crystals. Will that affect the helm, or will that affect our destination? I forget what she says.
Navigation.
Yeah, and he's like, no, that's the helm. Oh yes, helm. Helm's located on the bridge, and she takes off.
And he's like, yeah, you're not my mum, are you? Because I've fallen from a different tree, Miss Crusher. Are you all right? No, I think Wesley was very shoehorned in this episode. I think you didn't need him in this one. I think you didn't need... I think there's a few things you could cut and move the time to other things. And this is one of those scenes.
Yeah.
On average,
he does help
overall. Yeah.
Yeah, he does help the assistant chief engineer with figuring things out. But it's it could, like you said, it could have been cut and just changed to whatever.
Because that would be fine if it was Geordie or the chief engineer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think that the biggest problem with this episode is that the A plot. I mean, which is the A plot? Which is the B plot? Which would you say?
I'd say the A plot is the life form, life form, and then the B plot's the diplomacy thing. Would be my opinion.
I think it's functionally meant to be the other way around. I think the A plot's meant to be the aliens, but they spend more time on the B plot because you introduce one and then the other. But I think they needed to have streamlined the alien plot because the middle bit goes on a long time, and it's one of those scenes where it just didn't need this bit of next scene That's just because it's fine at the start, but it gets a bit more monotonous after a while.
So yeah, Crusher wanders onto the bridge and starts looking around, tries to touch the helm, and Picard's like, "So what's going on with Worf?" Yeah, he had a mental aberration. Moving along, and Picard's like, "Well, I think I need a better diagnosis than that when it's one of my command staff."
Doctor, what do I pay you for? Come on.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs puts in $3. 50 plus likes. I will go again at 100. Make me pay. Hashtag make Jeff pay.
Yes.
And Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. The snake guys scared me first time. Hashtag reptile like spike. Man.
Yeah. And you missed one, but Chris Douglas, $3.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Keep up the great
Sorry.
work, guys. Love your videos. Thank you so much. I'm going to sneeze.
Sorry, Chris. But yeah, then she's like, okay, well,
Whew.
need to run some medical cross checks. Klingons are so unusual in their reactions, aren't they? It's like, yeah, sure. Use science station number 2 to do that cross check thing there, lady. So, and I love how Data perks up and he's like, what does helm control have to do with medical cross checks, Doctor?
And her reaction is this.
I
I know, Tokyo Data, go away. But with a face.
Yeah. And Data's like,
I mean, humans, what can I say?
they're so illogical. Yes.
Yeah. Although you would think he'd put 2 and 2 together at some point. I mean, because I found it kind of very early on, because Data's powers of his abilities are a little bit all over the place. Although I guess it's more specific, but at the start, Data says for the cloud, nothing has ever been seen like this. I'm like, oh wow, you searched every database in less seconds than it took him to ask what it is, and yet when Riker asked about that thing previously, he had to manually check things. And obviously, yes, it's more specific than that, but it's like, so can you access everything instantly? Can you, like, I mean, yeah.
It's like when they see a void in space, like a tear in space. This phenomenon has never been recorded. And then I've seen supercuts of, it's a tear in space. It's just, there's nothing there. It's a void. There's so many times that it's been recorded. It's just a writing trope. It's like, oh, this is something new, exciting. Ooh.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, Tremek 26. Oh, sorry, Vincent Visions. What's in $2? Thank you. Nice to listen to during project work. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much. Good work. Good luck on your project, whatever it may be.
Kick ass, man. Kick ass.
Just make sure that the glue holds the macaroni really securely, because if you don't put enough glue, they fall off.
Oh,
and the glitter gets everywhere. So be careful with your project.
He's a bit more talented than that, Stuart. I mean, you don't know him, but he's more talented.
Does he make starships out of macaroni? That'd be cool.
Out of 3D macaroni. In the computer macaroni.
Ooh. Tremek 26 puts in $2. What's everyone's problem with Wesley? I mean, damn. When he's used properly, nothing. When he's just there for no specific reason, then there's kind of like, well, you could have just handed that line off to one of the main characters.
Well, I think you'll back me up. I've supported him every scene he's been in so far. This is my first time he's felt redundant, because he's not, unlike the main crew and cast, whose jobs mean they get in scenes and you would call upon X or B. The show, and we've been watching it since episode 1, he feels like super guest star. Like, oh look, Wesley's in this episode, we cast him this week. Not, he's part of the crew, weekly, where is he this week? Like, he's not that sort of vibe for me so far. So when he's in the episode, it's like he should have real purpose, because he's an theoretically important character, important jobs, whatever. Not just, he's part of the crew. What's he doing? Because he's not. Obviously he is, but he's not. Now, if he was part of the crew, as main cast, then you need to have story arcs with him. You need to have so it's just he's like double recurring so far. I mean, I don't know. Was he on as an actual specific main cast member, or was he one of the recurrings?
Yes. No, he was a main cast member for the first season for sure.
Well, he got a big ass paycheck then, because they get a lot for being a regular. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's where the entity leaves the Crusher, goes into the computer, and then this I found a little odd. Where she's like, why am I on the bridge? I'll go do this work in my office. Don't you think you should maybe report this? You're the chief medical officer. Something weird has happened to Worf. Now all of a sudden you're on the bridge without knowing why. Don't you think you'd be like, I have a memory lapse. I don't remember why I came here.
Yep.
But no, I'm just going to go back to my office. I don't want to look like an idiot.
This is one of those plot of, next.
Yeah.
Because like Data, right? Data's also got special eye sensors.
Yeah.
If you're writing this super intelligently, he would notice like her biosignature has changed slightly, or her heat level's gone down. Doctor, are you okay? Your biosignature has changed, and she's like, what? what am I doing here? And he's like, are you okay, Doctor? And Picard comes and says, oh, you're all right. Where's, yeah, this is what I mean. It starts to get a bit weird, that A-plot? I don't know. Yes. But now, instantly, and again, I think Data would put two and two together, things start breaking.
Yes, Science Station 1 is no longer working, sir. And Science Station 2 is now offline. The doctor just left after not knowing why she was on the bridge and accessing helm control. I guess I won't mention it. I don't know. Then we get a report from engineering that engineering's offline. Transporter room 6 is now malfunctioning. And I made a note. I said, so is this another chief engineer? No. Later we find out his name is Mr. Singh. He's told later to talk to Chief Engineer Argyle. And find out later when he dies, spoilers, that he is an assistant chief engineer, even though he's only like lieutenant, junior, whatever.
Well, we know that Geordie can go from one of the lowest ranks into chief engineer in 2 years. So I mean,
they're all over the place and I really like this guy. I like his character, but we'll talk about him later because there's a scene coming up with him that I want to point something out. But
my reaction was, yay, first Indian guy, woo, diverse cast, because the future. It's one of those things where I don't care per se, but it's weird that my fan from Temper Anomaly, all English cast. Do you know why? Made in England.
Made in England, yeah.
And I get called out for that. And it's like, I mean, if you're calling me out, why aren't you calling Star Trek out for having mostly American cast? It should be every ethnicity, why is the entire bridge crew not speaking every language accent? So I mean, I'm allowed to be all English if you're allowed to be all American. It's just where it was filmed. So I appreciate that this guy. And like I said, I thought he was a chief engineer, but I thought, oh, but he won't last long, obviously. But no, not quite. And obviously, there's a reason he's not chief engineer, otherwise that'd be another, another loss.
And Picard says to Data, "This ship is less than a year out of space dock. What are the chances of this happening?" And Data says, "Virtually impossible for all these failures to occur." So.
Now I want to bring up this observation shot, Stuart, because look, Stuart, at the top, you can see beyond the set, not space, just that's what's above the set. They forgot to crop in a little bit. It's hilarious.
Did they really?
Yeah, and you've got it, but that's just above.
Oh yeah, you can see the supports holding things on.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awful! I never noticed that.
The master didn't even it's blatant because it's a cool out shot and it zooms in. You're like, oh nice, and it's like, what's above it? Oh, the gaffer tape and the supports, and it's like, wow, you couldn't zoom in 10% more in remastered? Seriously?
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, I didn't notice that. I gave it credit for that, zooming in on the ship from the rear and then closing in on that was kind of a cool shot. But yeah, now that I see it, way to ruin it for me, man.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so everybody's here except the chief engineer. I don't know why the assistant chief. What is the chief engineer doing right now? Is he sleeping? Usually, when you're having an important when things start going wrong, you have everybody in the conference room, including the chief engineer. But no, we're going to send the assistant today, I guess. Where he speculates that it's a rampant electronic short that jumped from system to system, even though the systems aren't really interlinked. They are in certain areas, but there were no failures there. I don't know why the chief engineer wouldn't be in the briefing.
Yeah, so why do they keep going to this guy when you've got the chief or not?
Well, they mentioned Chief Argyle. That's the bearded guy that we saw.
He should be in this meeting.
He should, absolutely.
Don't invent a new character and the chief should be here. Just feels very redundant.
He's probably locked in a holodeck because the holodecks malfunction every 3 seconds on this ship. So.
Yes, and I appreciate this is the first time we've seen the briefing room in such detail that there's the proper ships. First time we saw it, we didn't get a sense of that. It's been too dark, and we get first time blue screen warp stars with a very distinct warp star effect multiple times for the episode. That starts the trend.
But it's still piss poorly lit. The conference room.
It's better though.
It's a little bit better.
It's better. It's getting there. It's still too dark, but it is getting there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Back to the B plot. They confiscate some very classic Trek TOS.
Yeah.
Let's make them 5-minute props, but they're basically just knives and forks.
Light knives.
Light knives. Yes.
Yeah, one of the Antikas was found outside the Sea Lake quarters with tools.
Just a coincidence, though. I mean, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it wasn't a coincidence, I mean, who cares, right? Yeah. No, it is fine. But meh.
Yeah.
And
This is where I made a note that the mouths don't move well because he does a lot of talking here, and it's just kind of.
And isn't it weird that the first scene was with the lizards, now with these guys? Wouldn't it make sense to go back to the lizards and then back to these guys? Because we don't really see the lizards pretty much again as any sort of main talking point, but they're better looking makeup.
You do later, yeah, but
the balance is far more on these guys. Every single time you go back to these people.
I want to make a point too. The mouths didn't look like they moved well, but they're speaking their own language, and the universal translator is translating. So maybe the way their mouth move is appropriate for their language. That being said, if everybody's speaking their own language, like Russian and French, their lips shouldn't match up to. And same with the aliens later. It's just one of those flaws in Trek.
Well, that would have been fun then if they'd come on board and they each spoke their own language, and then they had to like tune in the translator. That would have been a nice touch, you know. Hello again, or like they give them a chip, and the chip has a new code to the translator. Blah blah blah. I just think it's weird that we're trying to follow these people, but we've pretty much cut to these guys, not the other guys. And I like the other guys more because it's the same exact scene with these people every time. It's, oh no, we're not going to hurt them. Oh no, this kill isn't going to hurt them. Oh no, we're going to eat them. Oh no, we didn't eat them. Like, it's the exact same scene, and it would be fun if it was if we kept swapping, but it's not really interesting. Like, I mean, would you agree that once you know the whole episode, it's like these aren't particularly interesting anymore. It's just the same thing. Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah.
Eugene shows up and puts in 1,000 rubles. Thank you very much, Eugene. I guess B plot is another attempt at comedic plot.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's where we get warp failing.
Yep.
Warp just dies.
Yeah.
Subspace radio is out because they try to contact Starfleet. And then this whole conversation about maybe it's a saboteur on board. And then all of a sudden the Ferengis brought up. The Ferengi have been spotted trading with both of them, so it's obviously the Ferengi, because they're the big baddies for season 1.
And it'd be great if I had a comment saying, "Oh, isn't it strange, number one, that we hadn't seen a single ship of theirs ever, and now they're in every star system in the Federation? That's weird. We can't. It's as if the plot. I mean, the screenwriters. I mean, some higher power is deciding that there was a dramatic moment, and now they're everywhere."
Yeah.
It's like, that's a bit of a coincidence that both these people, because surely, I mean, if we don't know how long they've been part of the Federation, but been warp capable, but there'd be a Federation envoy on the planet to talk to them, and maybe a ship at each system. I'm sure you wouldn't be able to get away with the Ferengi ship appearing without being say hi. I don't know.
Well, this is where this is a mystery comes up, and Picard says, "Sound like a private eye." Data's like, "Sound like a private eye, sir." So he asks what that is, and wow, sounds like an interesting occupation. Picard's like, "In the world of fact, probably not." And I made a big note, so true. Because, I've done private investigations, and it's more paperwork and bullshit and waiting and being bored out of your mind than anything else. So this makes me laugh, this whole scene. And then he goes on to say, in literature, though, it can be a fascinating exercise, as we see on all our TV cop procedurals and all the classic literature. Absolutely, it's exciting, even though it's not. And he goes on to say, the immortal Sherlock Holmes would have an interesting view of our situation. Yes.
I'll say I had no memory that it was Picard that introduced him to Sherlock Holmes. I just assumed that was part of his character from day one. But I love we see the genesis of that. That's pretty cool. I had no idea. Although you would think that Data would really identify with them. He'd read everything and see everything, and
He
you know what
did.
I mean.
In the next scene, we see Data in. He's gone through everything. He said he's studied
I-
every
But
case.
that's what I mean. Until now, like I'm saying, you
Oh,
would think that he would have identified the guy, bumped into him in his last 20 years of being alive, given that he knows every single gas cloud in all of Federation history and can tell there are no gas clouds like it. If he knows that much instantly, I'm sure he knows about Sherlock Holmes anyway. Like Private Eye is a phrase that existed for hundreds of years. He should, I mean, just a dictionary, just a lexicon of the past. He should know just in case for anthropology reasons. So I just find it very strange that he didn't know about Sherlock Holmes or didn't care yet. But I would assume he would have, loved him either way. So I was intrigued that he was the one that set him up to it. It's cool.
yeah.
It was like, oh, took you this long.
Yeah. And then Picard says, well, we'll have to find our answer without history's greatest consulting detective.
And then you get a face.
And then you zoom in on Data, and he's like, Holmes. Like, he whispers Holmes. So, love that. That's cool.
Yes, you zoom in on Data.
Now we're back in engineering. And the guy's like, I can handle it from here, Ensign Crusher. But I learn more here than in school. Well, I tend to agree, but the captain's very strict. You have your studies. Get the hell out of my face.
And I was like, wow, he solves your thing. Just the nick of time he has to leave. It's like, so I guess you weren't that preoccupied with getting him to the right place at the right time. So it's classic like TV scenes of, last sentence. Okay, cool, class dismissed. That's the perfect right time at the end of class. It's like, really? Every time, every scene is the end of class? We've only sat down for 2 minutes if you watch the scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is okay, but it could have been Geordie or someone.
Yeah. Then he goes to Spectre's quarters, and there's his mom in a Snuggie reading a pad, and she's like, he's telling her about the dilithium crystals, and when were you telling me about that? This morning, don't you remember? The hell I can't. I just picture Spock from Star Trek 4. The hell I can't remember.
And I thought she acted this very, very awkwardly. She's like, oh, what dilithium thing? I mean, how do you act that? But it's just like, that was piss poor acting of that scene for me. And also, only 2 or 3 scenes ago, Crusher was sent off to do special scans in a office. You would think Picard would chase her about that. Now she's off duty, relaxing in her room. Like, this is off duty now. She's out of uniform. So I guess she did the report, sent it in, having to be off duty. Didn't think I should be on duty just in case anything else happens, and just go chillax in my room. It's like, oh, I guess that's the end of your shift? Huh. I just felt it just stood out to me for some reason, because we very rarely see them like that. But it was a distinct choice to have her be like, oh, cool, off-duty clothes, just gonna chill. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then, in engineering, Mr. Singh gets zapped and dies, and it's a shame, because like I said, I really like this guy, and the small amount of time he had, he wrote quite a few lines, more than Tasha, for sure, in this episode. But I really like this guy. I would have liked him to be a main character. But he dies, Worf finds him. But yeah, engineering's repaired. We can go back to warp, everybody. Maybe he fixed it before he died. Not likely, sir, says Wesley.
And this scene where Worf finds him, I again wrote, why is this Worf and not Tasha? It's like you've got these moments that either of them can do, and yet you give it to Worf and not Tasha. It's like, give her more time. Like, again, you already feel like they don't know what to do with her. They have nothing to do with her, for her. So, well, surely you must have had a plot reason to include this character. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. Why Worf again?
Yeah.
I guess if you took 6 hours to get him makeup, might as well use him, but it's like, she turned up too.
Yeah.
Oh, Stuart, 150 people watching, which is awesome.
Yes.
78 likes, but please click the like button. Even more helps the analytics. And guys, please do super chat. We really want to know what you guys think of this episode, and we love talking to you all. So please do if you can. We try and get a certain amount each live. We're nowhere near that yet, so any amount would be great. And you get to control our conversation. So please let us know what you think. Thank you.
Anyway, moving on. So they jump back to work. Yay, everything's fixed. The guy's dead. Sweet. And the next scene is down in these guys' quarters again. Again, very dark, but probably because they like lower light. That's fine. But I tried, whatever, wherever you guys been between the hours of blah 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 and blah blah blah. I didn't write it down, unfortunately. We were eating. That's a span of hours. It was a large meal and an interesting animal. It's like, okay, you guys like to eat. Got it.
I guess you ate. I guess you managed to somehow fool senses, get into a diplomatic's room, kidnap him, kill him, eat him, and no one noticed. Great, good security guys. It's like that's the entire point of the scene. It's like, oh, well, you're a shit security team, aren't you, Tasha? You let that happen on your watch. What if it's the chief
tracking
delegate?
These guys? Yeah.
What if it's the chief delegate? I think you're gonna, you know, if our chief negotiator to Ran or something got eaten by England, I think the security team might be fired or put to prison or something, you know, whatever. And did you notice a little side comment? When they warp out in this previous scene, you know, they've been delayed for a bit. They need to get to this colony. Okay, they've always said they'll be delayed. That's fine. They were going to warp 8 originally, and to catch up time, they say, "Geordie, warp 6." You're already late. Why aren't you going at least as fast as you were before?
They do that a lot.
It's like
in Star Trek.
But you go warp 9 to catch up time. No, okay, we'll be later now. It's like why? Why? Like, go swap it. 6 at the start, 8 now. It was weird because I guess doesn't matter. It's weird. It's really weird.
Could be they don't want to push the engines too hard because they were already malfunctioning and they don't know what happened or how it got fixed, so they're kind of being easy.
I agree. It would have been great to have said in the script.
Yes. Yeah, we better not push the engines. Warp 6, Mr. Worf, or Mr. LaForge. Would have been good. Next scene is down in Beverly's office. They call Worf in. We're going to hypnotize you guys to find out what happened. Yay. Short scene. Done. Good. Next scene. Don't know if you have anything to say about that.
No, not really.
Yeah. The next scene is back in the conference room, and we see Data has already started studying Sherlock Holmes. You see? He's got the calabash pipe, which he said he's gone through all these stories, but he must have gone through also all the media because the calabash pipe was not introduced in a story. It was actually introduced by William Gillette in the very first screenplay of Sherlock Holmes. And it became a character trope, as did the deerstalker hat, which, in the original books, Sherlock Holmes only wore to the country. But, anyway. So, yeah, I have my pipe as well. I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. And when we get to that episode, I'm going to wear my Sherlock Holmes outfit. I'm going to have the deerstalker, the pipe, and the cloak thing. I even got my magnifying glass, see?
And when we get to the Doctor Who episode and the Fast Go episode, I'll wear my full costume for... Oh, no. Yeah, you'll be the guy there.
Yeah. Anyway, so Data's been studying all of Holmes. He studied every case. And then we go on to find out that the delegates have been too busy in their own affairs to worry about murdering the engineer or causing damage to the ship. So, elementary, my dear Riker, sir. I love how he said that. Elementary, my dear Riker. And then he looks at him, sir, just in case.
Yeah.
You know. Which is good.
This is another indicator that Brent just steals the show. He swaps performances on a dime. And it's interesting though because it means that his normal persona is like he could act more human, but he wouldn't be himself. I guess is the lesson from this. You know, I appreciate you said about the shitty green screening, but they keep the smoke really well. That's tremendous. Like, they challenged themselves, and they did a good job there.
Sure that's not a monitor behind them for that close-up, though? For the smoke? Or is it... Oh, I'm looking at a different picture. There's a close-up of him with a puff of smoke. But
it's in the wide, yeah.
Huh.
No, it's great. I give him all credit. And as you can see, it's also reflecting the in the reflective table. And that's, I think, a thing they added in Few Remastered was reflection, because that's a bad thing, because reflections end up behind him as well. That's a whole complicated thing. I've done it before, but it's annoying. But I give him total credit. That's a very seamless effect. Well done them. It's a good scene. It's a good scene. And
just love how Data's acting like Holmes, and he taps the screen with his pipe and swings it back. Man,
It is fun. And it shows these three are quite a good team acting together. And just shows that, again, Frakes is just having fun. You know? He's got him right from the first episode. Frakes knows how to play this guy. He gets him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love how she walks by Tasha with the pipe and she's like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, and you reminded me. I also made another parallel here. We're only, 7 episodes in, and they didn't actually... Picard mentions the pipe, but not the smoking. That's not actually brought up implicitly beyond that. But it's then funny how we get the Orville episode where Border smokes and it becomes a big deal. I just thought, try to do first. That's just, actual smoking. This isn't bubbles, it's not holographic, it's, real. Well, does this say Data has lungs that can blow oxygen? I guess he must do.
Yeah. He can mimic that. So he can blow on things.
Oh, yeah, I guess he
can mimic human behavior, so that would be part of it, I would assume.
Yes.
Eugene. Oh, sorry. No one special, although number one special. Puts in $2. Data is not an efficient storage device. And infinite. Okay.
Oh, for knowing all the Sherlock Holmes stuff.
True enough.
He isn't, but
And Eugene puts in 1,000 rubles. Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you.
If I remember correctly, Warp 6 is normal operation speed for the Enterprise D. Maximum cruise speed is Warp 9.2, only for 6 hours per day. Yes. But if you're already late to an important delegation or important diplomatic function, you might want to get there a little bit quicker. Even ramping it up to Warp 7.5. Because we know Warp is an escalating scale. Just because you're going one warp speed faster doesn't mean you're going a little bit faster. You're going exponentially faster. So Warp 7.5, 8 would have been good.
So choosing 6 over your previous Warp 8, you're getting there a lot slower. Like theoretically, maybe a day or two, maybe a day slower. Depending on the distance. I mean, it could be. I mean, it's not like 2 or 3 hours. I mean, it's gonna be potentially a day later, just because. But I like the whole don't want to push the engines. But that would have been a nice line. Anyway,
yes.
Back to engineering. We have a effortless hypnotism. And for me, this is
not engineering. This is sickbay.
Sorry, segue. Sorry. I felt this was a bit out of place. First of all, obviously, it should be the Doctor doing it, but she's the one under hypnosis. It's just a thing to give Deanna something to do this episode. But it's like, I guess it's such an obvious thing. So if you have a just works device and just hold it in front of you and then do it, it feels a bit out of place. Does it feel out of place to you?
Yeah, it's a little odd.
And it's, again, super slow. You need to ramp up escalation for this episode. This is when you should be, we know, and just, because if this scene didn't exist, right, and you cut right to Picard, they would still think, oh no, something's happening. And then if you then allowed it to get to the bit where Beverly says, are you actually Picard, without them figuring it out first, then it would be a much more, effective transition of,
yeah.
You didn't need this stuff because they don't figure out efficient enough, quick enough, or affect the plot at all. So it just cut the scene.
Yeah, sorry. Exactly. It wasn't necessary because then the next scene is where they're in the brief or the ready room, and she's like, "Oh, I got a sense of duality in both of them. They both said the same thing, but sometimes the duality is when you guys are making a decision. It didn't feel any different to you, seriously."
So telling us that you felt nothing different.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Diana. And you kind of notice in this, everyone's different heights, as they had to do this higher bit of the set just to cope with the close-ups. Because as soon as you get a Riker standing close-up, because you see Data, he has a certain amount of the ceiling, but other people, you have even more of the ceiling. So I just noticed in this one especially.
Sorry, I'm back.
But yeah, you didn't need the hypnotism scene to then use this scene. This scene would have been both. I feel like, honestly, they padded this episode because they
did a little bit.
They didn't. If they went any further with the aliens plot, that would have taken over. So they had to keep that minimal. They just throw away scenes almost.
Yeah.
And in this plot, once it gets going, it's great, but it has pad. So I just think it doesn't do the story well the way it's paced, or the padding, or the, they could have probably cut out 10 whole minutes and then had another 10-minute ending.
Yeah, it's like a small framework of story that they kind of pad. And then if this had been TOS, that hypnotism scene would have been replaced by a Vulcan mind meld on each of them.
That would have been good.
But,
And then you can see flashbacks to being in the cloud, and like, you know,
yeah,
that would have been fun. Yeah, that would have worked better, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, in this ready room scene, Data's got the pipe, and Picard's like, "Let's proceed without the pipe, shall we?" Should I proceed without the pipe as well?
No,
or...
I think as captain that you get pipe privilege.
Sweet. I'm gonna have it for the whole Elementary My Dear Data episode. Just saying.
Perfect.
But
this is a good scene. I'll give you that. It's a little bit too long.
Yeah.
It's a little bit redundant. Little bit.
It is. Well, it's establishing the Sherlock Holmes thing too, because Data's like, once we eliminated the crew and the delegates, and then of course, every time you hear a Sherlock Holmes quote, it's always the same goddamn quote. Once you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Which
isn't even in this episode. That he uses the even longer version.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I just always go to that one because that's one everyone uses.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. It was a good comedic setup for Data, introducing the whole Sherlock Holmes intrigue later, and everybody kind of got the reactions like, he's being so cute, look at him, they're all smiling.
We already had that though in a previous scene.
I know.
I don't know.
And then the whole closing out with him looking at the fish through the magnifying glass.
That's good. There's nuggets. It's just all a bit long. But we get back to the bridge, and Wesley, who is now in his acting duties, gets to be in ops and in engineering. You know, he gets some pretty exclusive access. That's cool, actually.
Yeah, that's a cool effect, eh?
The Wizard of Oz, right there. And suddenly helm goes down, and everyone goes back into position. And oh, this is the moment Picard gets zapped right in front of the man who has amazing vision, and the other man that has amazing vision, who's a robot. And Geordie's only like, wait, did I see something? Nah, it's cool, I didn't. It's like, this is a very poorly momented scene of like, let's do it in front of everyone in the crew. It's not as if there's a sound effect. I guess that's just for the audience. You know?
Well, Geordie caught it out of the corner of his visor, I guess. He's
but
like,
it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't.
Well, the helm is down. Yeah. The helm is not down. You're wrong. Look again.
That's fun.
All right. How'd you know that, Captain?
I absolutely love Patrick Stewart's change in body language, in tone, in acting, in pace. It is impeccable, but it's so like it's really, really good. Actually, this is where I think the episode puts into high gear. This is the bit I remember. This is the bit that I think is just so good. Yeah. But boy, it took a long time to get here. I mean, Crusher was good. Should have gone straight from Crusher to this. That's what it should have been. You know?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, Picard decides to turn their course around, double back on the way they were going, which got everybody like, huh? I mean, it makes sense almost. It almost doesn't seem out of character because maybe he realizes something that, oh yeah, we got to go back to that cloud to get the solution to this mystery. I can understand why they're a little bit apprehensive, but at the same time, if so much weird stuff hadn't been happening, I can actually see them doing this, despite the fact they have a diplomatic thing to go to.
Well, just go to warp 9, you can catch up with it. I mean, that's the irony, just go to max warp. And I love the logic behind these scenes, in that everyone's like, sir, and he's like, well, I mean, do I have to explain every order? And they're like, no, sir. And I mean, do you trust me? I mean, yes, sir. Well, good. And it's so peaceful, and like, I love the friendly vibe, and they're just so well played. Totally.
Yeah. He does say I think the cloud has an important scientific discovery, that we need to find. So.
And Data's like, but we got nothing from it, and he's like, yes, exactly. That's what I meant. We could get something amazing, if we look.
But we need to look.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the delegates in the dark hallways. Again, this is this is night shift for me. This is how the halls would look during night shift. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But
maybe it's really a horror vibe, maybe.
A little bit.
It just looks poorly lit.
Well, I think it's because the reptiles and these guys both have low lighting conditions on their planet, so they need lower light to be comfortable. So why not do the whole? But yeah, we get to see O'Brien here.
Yes. Nice surprise.
Sorry, the connection got lost for a second there.
Yes, you said O'Brien's back.
Yeah, it was nice to see O'Brien here. He didn't have much to do, but again, one of those characters kind of always been there, which is nice. And then if we get the next scene in the quarters. I don't know whose quarters, but they're talking about the captain should maybe be removed from command, but there'll be major problems for you if you're wrong.
And this
I need a medical log.
Okay.
Riker can do it if all the command officers agree. But we got to get him to sickbay for examination.
Yeah. But this shot's really a standout because we get a TOS shuttle in the background for some reason. Yeah.
And a refit model behind Beverly.
And a silver refit model behind Beverly. I did not know these were things when I originally like that. I think in high def you wouldn't even see, or not in high def you wouldn't see the one behind her.
I noticed these the first time I saw it because it's like, here, Star Trek fans, look what we have. Because again, they're still trying to appease the TOS guys who said, this isn't my Star Trek. So look, we remember the things that came before. Look.
Well, the shuttle.
Although in that
really nice.
In that shot with the shuttle and Troy, I'm not focusing on the shuttle's nacelles, if you know what I'm saying.
The shuttle's I know. Let me just zoom in on what you think you're focusing on. Okay, that's what I think you're focusing on, right? That people have talked about them before. People have thought they needed to be explained, to elaborate on, to show more of, perhaps, maybe undone. People have expressed interest. You tell me now in the live stream if that's what you're referring to, Stuart.
Well, the live stream hasn't caught up yet.
I
can see me talking about it, and you're like, yeah, well, okay, yeah. Still haven't zoomed in on anything.
Her hair bun, obviously, Stuart. I mean, that's what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. See, it looks like she got the lithium crystals in her hair.
Yes. Yes. Good. And this thing I thought was quite strange because pretty much the first words are, we can't do a mutiny. I'm like, shit. Who said mutiny? Wow, he set the stakes the highest possible. And it's as if they knew in the plot he was taken over by an alien or something. Like, it goes from 1 to 100 insanely quickly because we have to jump to the next part of the plot. This is why you needed to remove some of the middle bits to have Picard do something else. It's like, there's the other episode where he goes and sings in 10 Forward. And they're like, the hell? And it's great. It's a really well-paced episode. You needed that scene. Him walking into engineering being like, those Bassards we've got? And they're like, yes, Captain. They can do something with stellar matter, like cloud stuff, right? And he's like, yes? Good. We'll do that. Some stupid stuff in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, next scene is in the ready room. Riker and walk in, and Riker says, it's my duty to inform the captain that he may be under some alien influence that might cause danger to the ship. And he's like, well, I think it equally possible that you're all morons and that Troy, you, and the doctor are overworked and possibly suffering from hallucinations. And I'm the captain, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. I love
I kind of love the whole attitude here.
Because he's so smart. He's so smart about this. But how ballsy is that for Riker to be like, so just so you know, we think you're an alien. Are you? It's like, what?
Even if I was, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. It's like, really? Is that the safest way of doing this? I was kind of expecting, as you have in other episodes, like, Crush have like a secret tricorder in a pocket. She walks out and she's like, he's an alien. Like, that happens so many times.
That happens later. Yeah, that happens a few times, yeah.
But it's still a fun scene. Still a fun scene.
Yeah, and he orders them to arrange medical or orders the doctor to arrange medical and psychological exams for all of them.
Yes.
And I love when he also says, "I'm really too busy for this kind of nonsense. Do I have to call security to force you to go to sickbay?" With his legs up on the desk. It's so well done, so well played. Like, love his acting.
Yep.
Oh, this next line is stupid. The Riker's walking through the corridor, and he gets lassoed by a glow stick thing, and security to engineering deck. Why, in the name of God, did they put delegates on the engineering deck? And why is that a thing? There's many other decks that are just quarters and suitable for diplomatic. Why? I'm sure he's on his way to engineering. That's what they were going with that line. But doesn't work for me. Sorry.
Yeah. This is a really big ship with a really big crew. We know the delegates are on different levels. So you're telling me that all these people managed to get out, lay in wait on, I guess, must be the other guy's floor. Must be. So you're assuming those guys are also walking around because we're not assuming out of their rooms a single point of time. And then you lasso anybody. It's like as soon as you lasso one officer, they're gonna rat you out. It doesn't make this is a stupid moment that is just in there to pad. It really is. It doesn't do anything. It's dumb.
I love how you say rat them out when they're snake-like and they would eat rats. That's funny.
Well,
That's
the rats
funny.
have to get some revenge, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you see the PayPal, Stuart, or shall I read the PayPal?
I haven't seen a new PayPal.
Ian Warrender, 10 Canadian. Super helpful. Thank you so much. Cool episode. But the cast are still finding their feet. Still think the cloning of Picard later to save him is an odd use of transporters. What exactly did they energize? Some of this feels like TOS set up with a TNG crew.
We'll talk about that when we get there, Ian.
All fair points, well made. Thank you so much. And guys, follow his example. The PayPal super chat. Please do.
Do. Right on. So yeah, she delivers the medical reports, and he's like, "All right, I'll take a look at that later, thanks."
Don't care, thanks.
And then she's like, "Are you John Luke?" He is here, and more. Soon we will both be home. I do a bad Picard. I'm sorry, but
it's a great turn. But then the next scene, Riker's like, "So, Captain, what should we do?" And I'm thinking, you all know he's an alien. The hell are you talking about? You know, it just bad writing for this next like 2 seconds. It should be as soon as he walks out, he's like, "What are we doing next, John Luke, alien man?"
So yeah, well, they approach the cloud and they're within 10,000 kilometers and hold position. Now, interesting fact, and something you guys might learn from: in Starfleet battles, they're 1 hex away. 1 hex in Starfleet battles is 10,000 kilometers. Just thought I'd point that out. So yeah, good distance to stay away from something, just in case. Should we begin scientific tests, sir? And then he does the announcement for the entire bridge. You know, when we went by this thing last time, a sentient life form was accidentally carried away. It was a terrifying experience. Like a large claw swept down and scooped you away from everything you know. And then it's this. I don't know if this is Picard talking at all. The planning to beam himself and the entity into the cloud because he wants to be energy and explore space in a different way. Doesn't seem like something a Starfleet captain would necessarily do. So I don't think it's really Picard at all.
I mean, do you want to have that conversation now?
We can have it after because it's almost over.
Okay. Just write a note to remind us, guys. Talk about the final Picard thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that it'll come up when he beams back because it's like I don't remember. And he goes on to say his resignation from Starfleet has been properly tendered and recorded. So I'm out, guys. And he heads down to he zaps everybody, holds them in place. So they don't stop him, and he basically heads on down to the transporter room and beams himself into the cloud. Every time they said the cloud, I kept thinking of my iPhone. He's beaming himself into the cloud. That's good. He's backed up. I can retrieve him anytime. It's all good.
Which is true in what happens as well. He is backed up.
Exactly. This is before clouds were a thing. In that sense, anyway. So yeah, he beams himself away. It's a great speech he gives to the bridge crew before that, though. and everybody tries to stop him, and they're all like being held in place by the energy beams. And then he's gone. I love seeing the transporter pads or the transporter console inactive and then get activated. And later when Data uses it, it's the same thing. It's black, it lights up, and you see the bars slowly. But it's just really well done. I love the visuals.
It's small things like that, and also how so many monitors are active. Like, this was a big deal at the time, having motion graphics on. You know, a lot of it is obviously added in post and such, and a lot of it is practical, but it's like it all adds up, you know.
And you got to keep in mind, back in the day, these weren't touch screens. These weren't actual screens they could have these things on.
No.
Like, I got an LCARS on my touchscreen computer that I can touch. They didn't have that then. These were just, you know, overlays and...
They were plastic, transparent plastic on lights, which they carefully put on off them LEDs. They were bigger lights that they had to carefully mask, and you know. It's clever stuff. So Picard beams back. Is confused as anything.
Well, hold on. He beams out and is out there for more than an hour.
Oh, yes.
It's worth pointing that out. There's no readings, no sign of anything.
And then Riker's like, I guess we'll go then.
Head to Parliament, Warp 8.
And it's like, oh, 1 hour. I guess that's what we give our captain then. Cool.
Well, there's been no readings, no contact, nothing. Like, what are you gonna? How long are you gonna wait around?
Have you seen every other Trek? Like a day, 2 days, 5 days.
But you have shit to do. You got people on board that need to be at their place. Which, if we would have gone faster, we probably would have been there already. Could have dropped them off and come back, did this.
Yeah, but you get an Excel. You get the hood back. Dip the delegates on the hood. I don't know.
Well, then Troy starts reading something. We have to beam him back. The combination was successful. He can't survive out there.
At the nick of time.
Yeah. Move in, maybe. Can we find him? No, we can't. Well, maybe he'll have to come part of the way himself. And then maybe he'll get in the same way that the entity did, through the ship's circuitry.
And if he gets into the exact same transporter pad and pattern buffers, and we can bring him back by re-energizing, and they do. But it's
first. Okay. You forgot the P. Look, there's a P. Does that stand for Picard? Dun dun dun.
Or Patrick.
Ah. Or piss off, you bloody wankers. I'm happy here.
Also true. Good. Or peckish. Know. Please feed me.
I need food. I need energy. Please shoot an energy beam out of your phaser emitters. Or your captain's yacht, depending on which version you're watching. Anyway, in the ship's circuitry, he gets back. Bum bum bum.
And that's the pre-beam him, which we'll get into in a minute. And it's a very light-hearted ending until Tasha rushes in and says, "Oh, the cook accidentally boiled one of the reptilian dudes as food."
Well,
and they're like, "Oh, ta ha 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 ha." End of episode.
Didn't quite say that. There was a puddle of blood outside one of the delegates' quarters.
Yes.
He's been given food to prepare. Yes. It's already cut up. That looks like the delegate. He hasn't done anything with it yet.
Well, but it's still dead, and yet ends on a ha ha ha. No, a guy's dead, and he's the head. It's a horrible ending. We're just gonna move on.
Yeah, I'm tired. Oh my God, Riker, you take charge.
A murder's happened. Let's go to bed. Literally, my last note is bad ending. It's a really bad ending, in my opinion.
Well, they're trying to do the TOS feel good at the end of the episode.
Fails horribly.
I don't think so. I didn't give a shit about the delegates.
I know, so that's the problem. You don't give a shit about them. That plot point doesn't work. Because it ends here, hasn't meant anything. It's annoying. I was waiting for more scenes. I was hungry, like the delegates. For Lizard, like the delegates.
So, and then they warp off. Yay. All right. So, now we got to talk about
Picard.
Yes. Okay. So, was he part of this decision? So, maybe he, well, it's obviously the things in his body. They communicate. They can talk to each other. Perhaps, maybe he decided he wants to go and explore the galaxy this way, and body be damned.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when they beam him back, they use the pre-beam out body pattern. So any memories he had while he was out there, he wouldn't have, I guess, is kind of the vibe I get. But the energy that's being back and put into that body, you'd think thered be some... I can understand why he wouldn't remember, because that's a pretty big transition. But Did Picard essentially die? Like, I don't even know what happened here.
I feel like, given that Crusher had no memory and no feeling of what happened when she was taken over, that implies to me it's more likely that, in the same way, he's just a vessel for him. You know, Crusher and the entity didn't unison to do what they did. It was just the entity. So I think he's just bullshitting them. Picard still has his nephew, his, all these things we don't know about yet. Crusher and all these things. So I think it's just as simple as lying alien to get where he wants to be. I think it's probably quite clean cut, even though it's acted very well by Patrick Stewart. That you still think that the energy doesn't feel menacing, doesn't feel like a raw taken over. There's still a hint of the Picard just unfiltered. So I appreciate the acting, but I think it still pretty much just took him over, as many aliens do. And then brings them back. Magic, really.
Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, whatever. I did. We had I was closing the scene. I was like, how many minutes left? Oh, 1 minute. Huh. Okay. I guess the episode's done. I guess so. Speaking of done, there's the episode, and now we're going to run through the pictures with the screen caps. So,
and David Reel puts in $5. Thank you. Starfleet's premier diplomatic vessel. Most of the delegates are eaten alive. Arrive uneaten.
Yes, that's the best you can hope for. Thank you, David. That's funny. Okay, so Stuart, your closing, overall spoiler-filled, full thoughts, and after now this long discussion on this episode 7.
I really enjoyed this episode. Like I said, the first time we really get an A and B plot, which I like. It breaks things up, keeps things interesting. This one was more integrated. The two plots are kind of still integrated quite closely. Later in other episodes, they're totally apart, sometimes in different locations, which is fine. So I love that aspect of it, bringing that to Trek, because TOS is sorely lacking A-B plots in every episode, and sometimes the one plot's just not good. So if you focus on it, it makes a really bad episode. Such as Spock's brain. Spock's brain could have been good if it would have had a B plot, perhaps. Who knows? So introducing that was great. I did enjoy some of the dialogue in this. The introduction of Sherlock Holmes was great, kind of fleshing out Data's character a bit, and even giving hints at Picard and his Dixon Hill fascination with private investigators.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being a private investigator myself, it's interesting. But yeah, I think there was a lot of padding in this episode. It was a really kind of a skeletal framework of a story that wasn't really realized as well as it could have been. It's some major holes and just plot filling. I did like the addition of Mr. Singh, the assistant chief engineer. I thought he was a good character. I wish he wouldn't have died. I would like to see more of him, perhaps. But Tasha, where was she in this episode? You think because there's delegation?
I mean, she's there in all their scenes, pretty much.
I know, but she did a piss poor job as a security officer in this episode. And the scenes that she's in, like I said, Singh got better lines and more character development than she did.
And why wasn't Tasha then with Riker and Crusher when they're trying to, get Picard to go to sickbay? Like, bring security.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's got good and bad points, obviously, but it had the Star Trek, something unknown, entity of energy that inhabits the computer and is trying to get back home and moves body to body. It's a cool sci-fi Star Trek element. Plus the diplomatic Starfleet side of things. Got to get the delegates to where they got to go. Got to stop or make peace with these two people. Stop them from warring. I thought it was actually really well used in that regard. I just wish it would have been a little bit more fleshed out story-wise. So. My score out of 10, I'm going to have to give this one a 6. Maybe a 5.5. 5.5 out of 10.
And do you want to give it a TNG Season 1 review as well? Score?
TNG Season 1, I'm going to have to boost that up a little bit to probably a 7.
Okay.
But because this is one of the better episodes that we've got so far in Season 1. Now, we're only 7 episodes in, guys. So this is definitely 7 for Season 1, and overall, I'd say a 5.5.
Okay, do you want to do another one of Eugene's comment? Super chats, thanks so much. You want to read that, and I'll give my thoughts.
puts in 250 rubles. Thank you. Did Enterprise D have a chef? Probably a few of them. There's lots of different. If you look at the blueprints, there's lots of galleys and food preparation places and dining halls and stuff. So there's probably a few of them, not just one. You'd think there'd be a few chief engineers as well. One chief engineer and a few assistant chief engineers. We go through a bunch of chief engineers in season 1.
Yeah, I was surprised they explicitly mentioned a chef. And I was like, oh, cool.
Well, chef for the diplomats makes sense because you want to make sure they're treated well and get what their dietary requirements.
But does that mean
I kind of get that?
But does that mean they're normally like a science specialist that happens to be a chef in their spare time? It's like, yeah, for this assignment you'll be a chef. They're like, oh, really? Not replicated food? And they're like, well, yes and no. So
it's the Enterprise D. We got barbers. We've got all kinds of different professions on board. I can definitely see there being chefs for. Especially special occasions or diplomats and stuff. So yeah.
And also, we know that in Voyager, one of the have time to spend on these sorts of little plot threads, that like chicken soup, all the soups always then taste identical each time, and so at some point you've had the same chicken soup replicated 50 times. It's the exact same flavor, and so I would, if there was a chef that wanted to be a chef, even if it's all the same replicated ingredients, he customizes each time so that if you go and eat a chicken soup made by this guy on a Wednesday, he's put a different amount of everything. Even that slight 5% difference you'll notice as a person who eats the same food. You're like, this is different. It's just different. I'm just experiencing difference. So I can definitely see that being a thing. Because, like I say, at some point you can only program in randomness to a certain point. Computer randomize amount of salt every time. It's like, well, yeah, but it's not the same as.
But I'd still have salt shakers. Like, add more.
Yeah.
I love my salt.
Yeah. I guess people already put in their scores. 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Season 1 was so bad. Well, it's been okay. 25 out of 25, I guess? No, that's what I hate. Yeah.
Fleet Boss Swiftback. Well, no, they're asking how many episodes in season 1.
Yeah.
Fleet Boss Swiftback put in $1.99. 6 out of 10 out of Trek. 7.75 out of 10 for season 1.
Wow.
Hashtag reptile like Spike. Dun, dun, dun.
Fleetpool, that is a hefty thing. So my closing thoughts are, it's a real mixed bag, this one. It's the first foray into A and B plot, and they don't know what they're doing yet. That's the thing. They commit far more to the A plot. The B plot is basically a side thought. It has a setup. It has no payoff. It has no resolution. It has no arc. It's just cut to aliens being weird. That's it. It could have been removed from the episode and played no part, and so it's an absolute fail in terms of plot. I was enjoying it as I was watching it, but by the end, it is an absolute fail of a B plot, which is sad because it's all the promise. And like I say, before we get to the title sequence, both plots, interesting, awesome, great, and then this just happens. And then the one sinks and drowns. The A plot is very Trek, very intriguing, but it was bloated and bloated is the only word really, I think.
You get bloated after eating a diplomat too.
Yeah, seriously, all that fat and fiber. Yeah, no, so go joke wise. So it's got the great. I think this is a great 20-minute episode. If you took out all of the other stuff and just went for the cloud, I think it's a really solid 20 minutes of good stuff, really good fun acting, a good pace, 20 minutes, good character beats, but only 20 minutes of really, really good stuff and a lot of other stuff around that with a lot of sort of random things, but the build character, like the data stuff and some of the Worf stuff, it's good, but in an episode that already feels bloated, it's bad. The best sort of episode where you have character beats are where everything else is so crisp. Like Yesterday's Enterprise. Yesterday's Enterprise is filled with stuff, but the Prue and Drew start feels awesome. Even though it's so innocuous, whatever, who cares? And thank you, innocuous. But it feels really good in that episode. Even what I mean. It's not bloated. It's refined. And the Sherlock stuff was great. That was fun. And like I said, the acting was both some weird bits and some really strong bits. So I think it's an episode with a bit of a mixed bag where they didn't quite have a full episode of content. So they wrote a second plot. That also wasn't enough content. And so I think it lets itself down more than it does things right. but not for lack of trying. It's just it doesn't do anything. It has so much potential. It's a missed opportunity episode.
Interesting. And the interesting thing about it is written by DC Fontana, who does some of the best Star Trek stories and has since TOS. So it's kind of one of the least good DC Fontana stories, but it had potential. It just needed a bit more fleshing out.
I think it was very much like Firepoint. Oh, we need to double it. Shit, add a second plot.
Mm-hmm.
They added a second plot because normally you integrate things. You know, you normally you put things. What if the the entity had gone into the diplomats? That would have been a way of integrating them.
I could see that happening in TOS, being more of a one plot wonder instead of an A and B plot. The diplomats are part of it. It gets in one of them, kills one of the other diplomats, then transfers, and a whole bunch of stuff goes on. But it's all one plot. I can see that being TOS for sure.
Yeah, but then at the end, you would have had the diplomats who'd lived be able to see the world in a grander scope because they've now seen through the eyes of this alien that can see the universe. So they see their petty squabble as being meaningless, and they do peace, and that's the natural end of the arc. So honestly, this is it's tricky because it has some good moments and some bad moments, but missed opportunity is still a negative. It's why Discovery a lot of time fails. It's just missed opportunity. It's a bad, this should have been better. This one should have been better. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to give it a good score because it's not a good episode. It's not a bad episode, but it's not a good episode.
Bad episode. Bad.
I'm gonna give it a 5 for season 1 of TNG.
Okay.
Because some acting's pretty damn solid, and a 2.5 for TNG. If that. I'll need to see them more. But it's definitely not a good TNG one. But like I say, I could make a 20-minute really good episode out of it. Like an 8 out of 10. And that's just for me. And that is, like I say, that's going from someone who actually had a soft spot for it. And watching it again let me down. And I didn't change. I did. Well,
you did.
The episode didn't change
every day. Things happen.
The episode didn't change. Do I sound a bit too harsh there, Stuart, or do you kind of get what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. Okay. You didn't come off as harsh at all. I understand.
Yes.
Sorry. Jeff Jacobs puts in $3. 100 likes. Nicely done. I will go again at 150. Make me pay. We're not going to get to 150 with 129 people, and we're basically done.
Yes.
So, but if we get to 150, that'd be amazing. I'm sure we will on rewatches.
Yeah.
People watching this not live, which is fine. But so thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $4.99. Thank you. We hit 100 likes. Y'all are awesome. Way to go. Hashtag Reptile like Spike. Hashtag TNG season 1 like Spike. I love how the hashtag like Spike now being adapted for each thing we do, which is great.
I feel like it's a shirt. It's going to be a shirt at some point.
Should be a shirt with me with a pipe, just in profile. Hashtag like Spike. No. Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys are excited about Elementary My Dear Data, where I'm wearing the Sherlock Holmes garb for the whole thing, I'm also excited for it, but I think that's season 2.
And you guys need to help us get to season 2 by supporting this channel, by Patreon, by YouTube, by watching our videos. We still release our Saturday ships, even though less of you watch them, which is sad. But it'd be nice if you did, go in and watch more. We've got some cool stuff coming out.
That's why it's important to hit the notification icon. A lot of people, YouTube isn't sending out notifications like they used to. They're very unreliable, even if you have hit the notification. But if you haven't hit it, hit notify, so that way at least you'll get it, usually after the day or so after, because YouTube's just unreliable as of late.
Yeah.
But if you want to see more Trekyards, make sure you hit the notification icon.
And it's amazing how we still release videos at the same time every Saturday, and yet, used to get 10,000 views relatively easily. We haven't moved. 40,000 subscribers. It's like people just don't look unless they're reminded by YouTube, and YouTube isn't favouring us, which is sad because we like a lot of stuff. And we did one on the USS Shinjo TOS Ultimate Fan last week. I liked that as a design, and we did the Criterion Alex Yeager's first contact concept this Saturday, and it's fun to see stuff. I got a book at a FedCon I want to show you with some really cool stuff I'd never seen before in terms of concepts from Generations and First Contact. I'm really excited to look at because I've never seen them before, and considering how much we've looked at stuff, that says something.
Yeah, And good news, guys. The next review is going to be on Thursday.
Yes.
Yes, and it's Justice.
No, wait. No. Remember, I can't do Thursday. You can't do Wednesday. I can't do Thursday. We're doing Friday.
Oh, I thought we were doing Thursday and Friday.
No, remember, I said I couldn't do Thursday.
We're doing other filming on Friday.
Yes,
well.
we're doing 2 things on Friday.
Well, that sucks. Well, fine then. Next live review is on Friday. And that's episode 8, Justice. And that's the Wesley falls into a plant stand episode, which I can't tolerate. There's a bunch about that episode. As a captain, I would be like... yeah. Anyway, we'll get to there. We'll get there. It's got some good points to it. Like, costuming is good, but other than that...
I'm excited to look at that one. To revisit it.
I'm excited to look at a lot of things in that episode, but revisiting it's not going to be joyful. Eugene puts in 1,000 rubles and says, a bit of a fund for Trekyards recovery from watching people running around almost naked. Well, thank you. That's preemptive, but thank you, Eugene. Much appreciated. So, guys, Friday is when the next one is, so...
Yes.
Yeah. Unless some miracle happens and we have one before then. I mean, I could do one tomorrow, but it'd be earlier and, have to be done at a certain time to get out of here on time. It's just kind of a headache.
People will watch, Stuart. People will watch.
I hope so.
Yeah. And next week, I know we're going to try and do more regular stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. We're trying to get back. But like, so we might do one at the weekend. Maybe, because we're both here at some point. Like, we're at least here roughly. And that might be a big live stream with birthday. It might be maybe longer than 2 hours, where we'll do some drinks, do some discussions, we'll do some fun things. Hopefully more of you guys will join in, because it is a sort of a drinking super chat thing. Again, support the channel, but be a very sort of different fun way.
Yeah, see, Samuel, I forgot I have to help my brother move on Saturday afternoon. So I'm not sure what time we'll be back on Saturday, if we're doing it Saturday night or if we're going to do it Sunday. Sunday would probably be better. But I'm supposed to be on another podcast on Sunday.
Oh. Drunk. Which podcast, Stuart? Give a plug.
Well, Dave Darren wants me on his podcast, but that's not this Sunday. I was going to do one with Star Wars Junkman this Sunday, but I might have to be on our channel depending, because he's having issues with YouTube. Anyway, we're not sure exactly what's happening this weekend. I want to do the birthday one, though. I'm excited for that. See, I thought we were doing Thursday live review, Friday the birthday one. That was what was in my head.
I did tell you when you said you can't do Wednesday, I can't do Thursday. So
I think I said
no. That's fine. But no, because we think weekend would be nice, because there should be more of you available that can tune in, and it is more of a chill. And also, the more we drink, the more we'll say, which is fun, and it benefits everyone.
Yes. So yeah, hour and 40 minutes for this one.
So just last super chat, guys. Who wants to be the last one? We can pop off, and I am going to go back to rendering some CG. We've got a space carrier coming up very, very soon. We've got 10 animations and a 2-parter for that. A lot of cool stuff there. I'll give you one hint. It does use some reverse engineered doomsday tech. Dum. So yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback says, let's just skip Justice and do the birthday one.
Can't skip it, but no.
We could preempt it. We could preempt it and do the birthday one instead of it, and do it next week.
Well, yeah, but then less people should be able to turn up on a non-weekend, because I want people don't arrive or won't be drinking much.
But it's Friday night, man. It's Friday night. It'd be a good time to have a birthday one.
Yeah, but it doesn't change if people are still at work. Like those are at work are still at work. Those not at work aren't at work. Whereas Sunday people might be around more, especially if we tell them on Saturday. I mean, it's a risk either way. Well, I'm sure we'll get our regulars on Friday, but
these are the conversations we have off screen when we should do lives and things.
Yeah, because the fact that if you don't turn up, there's no point doing them. You know what I mean? There is a certain That's why we when we did the Discovery Season 2 trailer of the D7, we had like 700 people watching, and it was the most amazing back and forth because we were getting constant people talking, constant super chats, constant comments. It's so energized because the back and forth is really, really cool. And those lives are just like absolutely incredible to be part of. Not these aren't, but these are much more a show. You know, with super chats help support the channel.
Yes. What he said. So anyway, keep an eye on the Facebook page. That'll tell you when the next live is. And
an Agent Pirate has the right idea. Ooh, a shot for every $5. Yes, there'll be a chart.
Yes.
And then you can imagine that, you know, an hour in, questions and answers might get quite interesting.
Listen, I'll tell you something for sure. The Orville, that's a good show. It's like this show, but it's not as good as the other shows. I don't know what I'm talking about.
But you know
it's going to be fun.
You know what's going to happen, though? We're going to say early on that we don't like, but we've told our origin story so many times.
Oh, God.
I'm going to get asked it every, like, 30 minutes as the booze takes effect. And the last telling, and we should do a hard cut. Yeah, that should be like a super chat. Like, for $10, tell our origin story, and do a hard cut between, like, 6 drinks in, 12 drinks in, 30 drinks in, same story, progressively more stupid.
It'll probably get better as we get drunker.
Probably. But yeah, guys, come on, last super chat and then we can go. Last question, last comment, whatever. But yeah. And this is fun. Besides Farpoint, this has been the first episode I've been sort of bored during. Which is sad. But I just don't think it takes such a gentle pace, and there's no payoff for the second act, for the B plot. And the A plot is a great payoff, but it just sort of ends. And like I said, the ending with basically, you know, Yar coming in and say, "Oh no, a diplomat's been killed and almost eaten. Oh, don't worry, I'll just go have a nap. You deal with this. Da, 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 it's fine." It's like, that's a horrifying ending, which cuts to a joke medley. It's tonally broken.
They're not humans. It's okay.
I know, but I don't know, Stuart. What do you make me say?
And don't forget poor Mr. Singh. He died. I mean, there's death everywhere, man. It's fine. You got to carry on. You got to do your thing.
Yeah, seriously.
Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. Says last one. Drunk Cap and Commander can't wait. Nor can I.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We've got things to show. Because if you've got your I'm sure you've got your presents as well for your birthday that you can show.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. All right, Stuart. Well, I will see you some other time. Are we doing any filming tomorrow?
No, we're not.
Okay.
I've got writing to do tomorrow. Plus, I need to film a captain's log and edit a captain's log for this week because I need to get back on the captain's logs. I got to do Ingomont's review. I got stuff to do. So I'm not filming tomorrow.
That's true. But writing, we need some scripty stuff.
Yeah. Don't want to write. I will. Ian Warrender puts in £2 and says, "Good night." That's a good place to leave it. Thank you, Ian.
Perfect. Good night, everyone. Guys. Have a great evening.
Don't need any enemies all around.
Perfect to end on. Bye, everyone.